I brought a flashlight this time.
All right. Oh yeah, let me grab my flashlight. Pass you that.
What was that? You forgot what now?
Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I have the flashlight. I don't have the brush with me today, but I do have the flashlight. So that counts for something, right? So this is absolutely incredible cemetery that Daniel and I are at today. I've been looking for this one, sort of looking for this one for a while. We finally located it today. There was a really sketchy bridge that Daniel and I had to drive over to get to this cemetery, and a local historian named Sally has been telling me about this cemetery for a while. I've always wanted to find it and film it and document it, and today we actually ran into a logging crew that's logging this section of woods right here and has no idea that there's a cemetery back here, because we asked them if they could point us in the right direction. But Randall, a friend of mine, had made me a map of cemeteries in this county, and one of the pins that he dropped was this cemetery here. So between Sally pointing me in the right direction, Randall giving me the pin on the map, and Daniel being brave enough to drive over that super sketchy bridge in this giant diesel truck right here, we found it today, so we're going to get in there and document it. Wow, this is incredible. So this is an old church cemetery here, and somewhere in these woods was a church. It was torn down a long time ago, and this cemetery is all that remains. Now, something that is neat to see here is somebody has been out here within the past several decades and has marked what would be unmarked graves with those white crosses you see out there. I'm really excited that we found this today, and I can't wait to get in here and read some of the names. Right, so here we have the grave of Saffronia F. Osborne, wife of Thomas L. Williams, born May 9th, 1833, and died May 3rd, 1900. At the bottom it says, "Dearest Mother, thou hast left us, and our loss we deeply feel. But 'tis God that bereft us. He can all our sorrows heal." Over here you can see where that grave would have originally sat, but it's broken off, and a very large indention right there. Now, unfortunately, this looks like it's pretty sunk in the ground, so we're not going to be able to get all of the information off of it. Is that Thomas?
Thomas L. Williams. It's got the handshake up top.
It says born, but I don't know, we might be able to get in the grave. Might be able to at least get a born date. Born April 17th, 1827. Over here we have, at the top of the stone, it says Ludi, in memory of Thomas James, second son of R.G. and T.A. Williams, born June 12th, 1867, and died October 6th, 1871. Suffer little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven.
The footstone actually says, it's got his initials TJW, but it also says Buddy up top, which I've never seen that.
Oh wow. Must have been like a nickname or something.
But usually you see footstones and you see the initials. I've never seen anything else put on them like that.
Yeah, me either. That's neat. This is sacred to the memory of Mary T., daughter of T.L. and S.F. Williams, born August 8, 1857, and died August 3, 1873. The epitaph reads, "Weep not for her who meekly led a life of piety and love, whose unassuming virtue shed a hallowed influence from above. The fallen dewdrop needs must dry,
Inhaled into its native sky."
inhaled into its native sky.
So I was doing a little rough count while Robert was talking, and there's 54 or 55 marked graves out here,
Wow.
which is pretty impressive. This little bitty area, but it's pretty neat. Somebody's come out here, in the past 10 years probably, and marked some of the ones that were unmarked with the little white crosses.
And it's amazing. As usual, we're out here in the middle of the woods where it looks like there's been no one living out here. And well, no one's been living out here for a very long time, but you've got this amazing, very large cemetery out here that speaks that this used to be a community out here. It's now just woods. Top of this one says, "Thy will be done." Thaddeus Beale Lawson, born July 9th, 1821, and died March 24th, 1878.
Go on the other side.
Oh wow. It says, "An amiable Father here lies at rest, as ever God with his image blessed, the friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age, the guide of youth." This is Lovina Lawson, born November 23rd, 1852, and died October 19th, 1869. Born from this world, ere sin could stain, or sorrow blight the opening flower. The name is actually on top of this one. Gertrude Lawson, born July 1st, 1871, and died September 21st, 1873. On the back it says, "Sleep on, sweet babe, and take thy rest. God called thee home, he thought it best." And something that's interesting to see is the stone that's on top of this. That's a pretty nice, pretty high quality stone right there. And like Daniel just said a minute ago, it's amazing how elaborate this cemetery that's just now in the middle of nowhere in the woods really is. Now this one is pretty interesting right here. It says Major Baker, 31st Georgia Regiment.
I was noticing on a lot of these out here, a lot of them had their own little gates around them. Like the very first one we shot had the marker around it where the fence used to be. Like there's some over here we'll get to had a fence around it. That one right there had a fence around it. So I don't know if it was a small little family plots. They were dividing them off or what, but the sad part is, you know, somebody over the years, people have stolen all the metal out of here to scrap or to whatever. So, but to be in the middle of nowhere, it's a very elaborate little cemetery.
Here we have the grave of Jesse Kimbrough. No birth date or death date. And then again you can see where these white crosses are marking graves that were previously only marked with field stones. So here we have the grave of Susan Coleman Gerald, born April 17th, 1833, died June 13th, 1875. Here's the grave of Ashbury Cowell, 31st Georgia Regiment. It is amazing, as always, to see just how many unmarked graves are out here. And of course, in this case, we can see them pretty well because they're highlighted by these wooden crosses, and previously would only be field stones. And of course, as you can see, the crosses are going to rot back into the ground eventually, and they will no longer be marked with anything other than a field stone or an indentation in the ground. This is S.M. Streetman, Georgia Militia. And over here we have John H., son of J.A. and M.S. Sherling, born January 12th, 1893, and died March 9th, 1893. At the bottom it says "at rest." These graves over here seem to be largely unmarked. But we do have two more that are marked over here. And something you can see that Daniel mentioned a minute ago is where a wrought iron fence used to be around this plot here. So this is the grave of Rufus Allen, born in Fort Valley, Houston County, Georgia, May 23rd, 1833, and died in Milledgeville, Georgia, March 30th, 1902. He giveth his beloved sleep. It's pretty interesting that it says Milledgeville, Georgia. There was a mental asylum in Milledgeville, and I wonder if he died there or if he simply died in the town of Milledgeville. Either way, we're a pretty good distance from there, so he made a little bit of a trek back here, back home, to be buried. Or maybe it was his home. I guess it was his home if he was buried here. There's a piece of wrought iron fence. Looks like this is all that's left of what was out here.
I'm on the back side of the cemetery. You can kind of make it out right about there. Just looking to see if I could find where the church used to be. There's some pretty good sized oaks in here, so I'm thinking it sat somewhere about where I'm standing. There's a good size one right there. That big stone I was videoed earlier, I think that's where marked the walking path to walk up to the church. So this is kind of in line with that. So I was just taking a little adventure through the woods to see what I could find.
Alright, so this stone right here looks like it would have been a footstone, but the headstone is missing or buried under the ground. It says HAA on it. There's another piece of cast iron fence right there. There's another piece right here. That's where the gate probably would have been. So this is the grave of a doctor, also a Masonic grave. It says Dr. Neil Gillis. Born July 27th, 1830, and died April 18th, 1907. Here sleeps an honest man. Over here is Mary L., wife of N. Gillis, born June 2nd, 1846, and died January 10th, 1922. At the bottom it says, "In God We Trust." Right there is an indentation in the ground, another unmarked grave. And over here is Christian McCaskill, wife of Angus McCaskill, born in Scotland, February 12, 1805, and died November 30th, 1890. And here is Angus Gillis, born in Scotland, Great Britain, February 1st, 1800, and died November 4th, 1886. And isn't that just absolutely amazing to see that here? He was obviously an early immigrant to America, being born in Great Britain, and is buried here in the woods of Georgia. I think that's pretty neat. And here is Christian Gillis, wife of Angus Gillis, born in Scotland, 1902, died March 16th, 1883. Alright, this looks like the last marked grave that's out here. Also a Masonic grave. And it looks like a Confederate veteran. So we have here Captain Dan Gillis, born April 2nd, 1838, died March 22nd, 1924. A gallant Confederate soldier and a Mason, 42 years master of his lodge.
There's one right here, I believe it's knocked over. We're going to clean it off and see if we can't see what it says. It says Mary Gillis, born in North Carolina, December 8th, 1831, died October 18th, 1918. She was ever faithful. It's actually got a dove up top.
Here's the base to her stone. You can see where it fell over.
Probably not going to be able to put it back up either. It looks like it's leaning too far in.
Yeah. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed seeing this cemetery with us today. This is absolutely amazing. Thanks to Daniel for coming out here with me today.
I didn't know it, but provide the gas.
And the bravity to drive over that bridge.
Yeah.
The brevity,
Yeah.
the brevity to drive over
The
that
old
bridge.
man under the rickety bridge. We almost became the old man under the rickety bridge.
We did, but we found it today, and this place is absolutely amazing. This was kind of on my bucket list of cemeteries to find out in this area ever since Sally told me about it, and it kind of bugged me that I had not found this one yet. But I really enjoyed coming out here and seeing it today. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it too. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next adventure.